Remember those soups no one makes anymore? The ones tucked away in handwritten cards and yellowed cookbooks, full of flavors we've somehow let slip away. They were simple, filling, and always waiting on the stove. After a long day, these are 30 forgotten soups that once warmed every table. Let's bring them back. Mock turtle soup. Mock turtle soup emerged in 18th century Britain as culinary genius born from economic necessity. Real turtle soup had become the ultimate luxury among European royalty, with green turtle meat offering an extraordinary flavor that combined notes of veal, beef, fish, ham, and pork all in one bite. But when overhunting made authentic turtle soup accessible only to the super rich, ingenious cooks created this clever imitation that fooled even the most discerning palates. The aroma that filled kitchens preparing mock turtle soup was nothing short of intoxicating. Picture the deep, meaty richness of slow-braised beef mingling with the warm spice of cinnamon, cloves, and mace. Madeira wine added its sweet, nutty perfume, while bay leaves and thyme created an herbaceous backdrop that made mouths water from rooms away. The smell promised complexity, comfort, and satisfaction in every spoonful.
And today we're gonna make mock turtle soup.
Traditional mock turtle soup relied on calf's head to mimic turtles' varied textures, providing skin, tongue, and brains. When calf's head wasn't available, oxtail or beef stew meat worked beautifully. The base started with rich beef or mutton broth, fortified with Madeira wine and generously spiced with thyme, parsley, bay leaf, allspice, cinnamon, cloves, and mace. To prepare this forgotten masterpiece, begin by browning your oxtail thoroughly in a heavy stock pot with dripping or lard until deeply caramelized. Remove and set aside. In the same pot, sauté chopped onions until tender, add minced garlic and spices, then stir in flour to create a roux. Return the oxtail, pour in hot stock, and chop tomatoes with lemon slices, including rind. Bring to a boil, reduce heat, cover and simmer for 2 hours until meat falls off the bone. Just before serving, stir in chopped hard-boiled eggs and add a teaspoon of sherry to each bowl. Garnish generously with fresh parsley for a dish that transforms humble ingredients into aristocratic elegance. Philadelphia pepper pot. Philadelphia pepper pot carries the soul of American resilience in every steaming bowl. This hearty stew journeyed from the Caribbean to colonial Philadelphia in the mid-18th century, bringing Spanish and West African culinary traditions to American tables.
Pepper pot first came to Philadelphia area in the mid-18th century.
Originally a communal dish for working folks, it earned the nickname poor people's dish because clever cooks built it from inexpensive cuts like tripe and ox feet, stretching every ingredient with generous spices and whatever vegetables were on hand. Walking into a kitchen where pepper pots simmered was like entering a spice merchant's dream. The air, thick with allspice, whole cloves, and crushed red pepper, created an almost intoxicating warmth. Marjoram and black pepper added earthy depth, while the rich, meaty aroma of slowly braised tripe and veal knuckle filled every corner. This wasn't delicate cooking. This was bold, unapologetic flavor that announced dinner was ready from 3 blocks away. The heart of authentic pepper pot lies in its humble yet flavorful ingredients. Tripe takes center stage, providing unique richness and texture, supported by veal knuckle and marrow bone for a hearty base. Root vegetables like onions, carrots, celery, and potatoes bulk up the stew, while the signature spice blend includes allspice, whole cloves, crushed red pepper, marjoram, salt, and black pepper. Flour and water dumplings make it even more substantial. Creating this forgotten classic requires patience and technique. Start by thoroughly washing tripe, then boil it covered for 6 to 7 hours until exceptionally soft. Cool and cut into small pieces. Separately, cook veal knuckle with marrow bone in water with soup bouquet, red pepper, allspice, and cloves for 5 hours over low heat. Chop the cooked veal small and combine with chopped tripe. The next day, discard solidified fat, combine strained broths, add the chopped meats, diced potatoes, and marjoram. Simmer 45 minutes, add browned onions and fresh parsley, then drop dumpling dough by tablespoons into the simmering soup. Cover tightly and cook 15 minutes until dumplings are fluffy and cooked through. Peanut soup. Peanut soup holds a distinguished place in American culinary history, particularly cherished throughout the southern states where peanuts flourished as a significant crop. This creamy, savory soup transcended its regional origins to grace the most prestigious tables in the nation. George Washington himself served peanut soup as a customary first course, establishing its early reputation as refined dining. During World War II, Eleanor Roosevelt championed its inclusion on Navy and War Department menus, recognizing its ability to stretch food budgets while providing essential nourishment. The Carter family later brought Southern peanut soup back to the White House, cementing its connection to American political heritage. The aroma of properly prepared peanut soup fills kitchens with rich, nutty warmth that's both comforting and sophisticated.
Have to try this West African peanut soup.
Picture the deep, toasted fragrance of smooth peanut butter melding with aromatic chicken stock, while sautéed onions and celery create a savory foundation. The smell grows more complex as butter, garlic, and herbs blend together, creating an inviting richness that promises satisfaction in every spoonful. At its core, peanut soup features smooth peanut butter as the star ingredient, providing signature nutty flavor and velvety texture. Rich chicken stock forms the base, often enhanced with light cream or milk for luxurious consistency. Essential aromatics include chopped onion and celery, typically sautéed in butter. Common seasonings encompass paprika for warmth, thyme, bay leaf, and sometimes garlic, and leeks for added depth. To create this presidential favorite, begin by melting butter in a large saucepan over medium heat. Add finely chopped onion and celery, cooking 3 to 5 minutes until softened and translucent. Stir in flour, cooking 2 additional minutes to create a light roux. Pour in chicken stock, increase heat, and bring to a boil while stirring constantly. Reduce heat to medium, continue cooking 15 minutes until slightly thickened. Strain the soup base, pressing hard on solids to extract maximum flavor. Return strained liquid to the saucepan, whisk in smooth peanut butter and light cream until fully incorporated. Warm over low heat, whisking frequently for 5 minutes without boiling to prevent curdling. Season with salt, pepper, and optional hot sauce, then serve warm, garnished with finely chopped salted peanuts. Squirrel soup? Squirrel soup represents a culinary artifact from America's rugged 19th century frontier, when wild game wasn't exotic dining but essential survival. In rural and developing regions across the United States, squirrel provided common, accessible protein for families living off the land. This hearty soup embodied the resourcefulness and practicality that defined early American cooking, where sustenance often depended entirely on what nature provided. The dish gained historical significance through its connection to President James Garfield, who fondly enjoyed squirrel soup during his youth in rural Ohio, demonstrating its prevalence as genuine comfort food in frontier households. The kitchen aroma during squirrel soup preparation transported diners to autumn forests and crackling hearths. Picture the rich, gamey scent of slowly braised squirrel meat mingling with earthy root vegetables and aromatic herbs. Bay leaves and dried thyme created an herbaceous backdrop, while onions, carrots, and celery contributed sweet, savory notes. The overall fragrance promised rustic satisfaction, wild and honest flavors that spoke of self-reliance and connection to the land. Traditional squirrel soup centered on cleaned, cut squirrel meat, though modern adaptations frequently substitute chicken thighs or rabbit for accessibility. The meat simmers in water or chicken broth, creating a rich, comforting base. Essential vegetables include diced onions, sliced carrots, diced potatoes, and chopped celery, providing substance and flavor. Simple yet effective seasonings encompass bay leaf and dried thyme, which impart earthy aroma and complement the meat's natural gaminess.
Fresh squirrel soup.
Creating this frontier classic begins by heating vegetable oil in a large pot or a Dutch oven. Add diced onion, minced garlic, sliced carrots, and celery, sautéing 5 to 7 minutes until vegetables soften. Brown the squirrel pieces on all sides to develop deeper flavor. Pour in 6 cups chicken broth, add bay leaf and dried thyme, bring to a boil, then reduce heat for low simmering. Cover and cook 50 minutes to 2 hours until meat becomes tender and pulls apart easily. Add peeled, diced potatoes during the final 15 to 20 minutes until tender. Season generously with salt and black pepper. Garnish with fresh chopped parsley for color and freshness. Bula soup. Bula soup represents a curious chapter in mid-20th century American culinary history. Distinguished by its reliance on convenience foods even in the most prestigious settings, this unusual soup gained fame as a favorite of prominent figures including John F. Kennedy and J. Edgar Hoover, earning a place at White House dinners. Its whimsical name supposedly drew inspiration from the silly college song Bula Bula, reflecting the lighter, more playful approach to cuisine during that era. What made Bula soup particularly noteworthy was its ingenious composition. essentially a sophisticated blend of canned pea soup and canned green turtle soup, elevated with sherry and crowned with whipped cream. The aromatic experience of bula soup surprised diners with its elegant complexity despite humble origins. Picture the sweet earthiness of pureed green peas mingling with the rich, savory depth of turtle broth. Dry sherry added distinctive nutty and slightly sweet notes that elevated the entire composition, while unsweetened whipped cream contributed luxurious velvety richness. The combination created an unexpectedly refined fragrance that masked its convenience food foundation, delivering restaurant-quality sophistication from pantry staples. The core components of bula soup were refreshingly straightforward. Pureed cooked green peas and canned green turtle soup formed the dual foundation. For those unable to source turtle soup, beef bouillon served as an acceptable substitute. Dry sherry provided the signature enhancement that distinguished this soup from ordinary preparations, while unsweetened whipped cream added the finishing touch of indulgence and visual appeal. Preparing this mid-century marvel begins by cooking frozen or fresh green peas until tender, then pureeing with a small amount of cooking liquid until completely smooth. Reheat the pea puree in a medium saucepan, adding tablespoon of butter, salt, and black pepper to taste, stirring until butter melts completely. Incorporate canned turtle soup and dry sherry, gently heating the mixture just to boiling point without vigorous boiling. Ladle hot soup into individual serving cups, top each with a spoonful of unsweetened whipped cream. For classic presentation, briefly place cups under a broiler to lightly brown the cream, adding subtle caramelized notes and visual appeal. Senate bean soup. Senate bean soup holds a unique and enduring place in American political tradition, serving as a testament to institutional foodways preserving culinary history. Dating back to 1903, this hearty soup has maintained continuous presence on U.S. Senate restaurant menus, becoming so iconic it earned its own dedicated page on the Senate website. Unlike many forgotten dishes that faded due to lack of cultural anchors, Senate bean soup's daily serving tradition has kept it alive, imbuing this simple preparation with significant symbolic weight that transcends mere sustenance.
Famous bean soup that they serve in the Senate dining room.
The aromatic experience of Senate bean soup fills dining halls with deeply comforting home-style fragrances. Picture the rich, smoky essence of ham hocks slowly releasing their flavor into creamy navy beans, while sautéed onions add sweet caramelized notes. The overall scent promises hearty satisfaction, evoking memories of grandmother's kitchen and Sunday family dinners. This wasn't sophisticated cuisine, but honest, filling fare that warmed both body and spirit during long legislative sessions. The fundamental components revolve around dried navy beans and smoked ham hocks, which impart rich, smoky depth to the broth. Chopped onions provide consistent aromatic foundation, often lightly browned in butter to enhance their natural sweetness. Traditional recipes sometimes incorporated mashed potatoes for thicker consistency and creamier mouthfeel, though modern versions typically omit this addition. Additional common inclusions encompass celery, garlic, and fresh parsley as finishing garnish, all contributing layers of savory complexity. Creating authentic Senate bean soup begins by washing dried navy beans thoroughly, optionally running hot water through them until slightly whitened. Place prepared beans in a large pot with smoked ham hocks and hot water, bringing to a boil before reducing to low simmer. Cover and cook approximately 3 hours, stirring occasionally to prevent sticking. Meanwhile, lightly brown chopped onion and butter separately. Once ham hocks become tender, remove them, cool slightly, dice the meat, and return it to the soup along with browned onions. For traditional thickness, incorporate mashed potatoes and stir thoroughly until smooth. Add finely chopped celery, garlic, and parsley, bring back to a boil, then season generously with salt and pepper before serving piping hot. French-Canadian pea soup. French-Canadian pea soup, known as soupe aux pois in Quebec, stands as a cherished traditional staple of Acadian settlers and French-Canadian families. Its deep roots intertwine with the practicalities of surviving Canada's challenging climate, particularly well-suited for long, harsh winters when fresh produce became unavailable. This soup's primary ingredient, dried peas, salt pork, and root vegetables, could be stored for extended periods, ensuring nourishing meals even during the darkest months. It provided essential sustenance for hardworking populations, representing both survival and comfort in equal measure. The aromatic experience of French-Canadian pea soup transforms kitchens into havens of warmth and anticipation.
French-Canadian pea soup.
Picture the earthy, wholesome fragrance of dried yellow split peas slowly breaking down into creamy richness, while smoked pork releases its deep, savory essence throughout the pot. Sautéed onions and carrots contribute sweet, caramelized notes, while bay leaves, dried thyme, and savory herbs create an herbaceous backdrop that speaks of home and heritage. The overall scent promises thick, satisfying nourishment that could sustain families through Canada's brutal winters. The heart of French-Canadian pea soup lies in dried yellow split peas, which break down during slow cooking to create naturally thick, pureed consistency. Smoked pork, typically salt pork or ham hock, provides crucial smoky flavor that permeates the entire soup. Fundamental aromatics include onions and carrots, often sautéed to build flavorful foundation. Some variations incorporate potatoes or celery for added body and nutrition. Traditional seasonings encompass bay leaves, dried thyme, and savory, contributing distinctive herbaceous character that defines this regional classic. Preparing this Acadian treasure begins by soaking dried yellow split peas overnight in cold water, with salt pork also soaked separately to remove excess salt. In a large, heavy-bottomed pot, melt butter over medium-high heat, adding diced onions and sliced carrots, sweating them 5 to 7 minutes until onions become soft and translucent. Stir in drained peas, ham hock, water, bay leaves, dried thyme, and savory. Bring to a boil over high heat, then reduce to low simmer, covering and cooking approximately 2.5 to 3 hours until peas become very soft and naturally puree. If including potatoes, add them during the final 30 minutes. Remove ham hock, shred meat from bone, return meat to soup, and season with salt and pepper before serving hot with homemade bread. Jumu soup. Jumu soup, widely celebrated as Haitian independence soup, transcends mere culinary tradition to become a profound symbol of liberation and national identity. Its history intertwines inextricably with Haiti's hard-won freedom from French colonial rule in 1804. Before independence, this pumpkin soup remained a delicacy exclusively reserved for French slave owners, while the enslaved people who prepared it were forbidden from consuming it. This enforced exclusion transformed the soup into a potent emblem of oppression, making its reclamation after independence a powerful act of cultural self-determination.
The most famous Haitian dish ever, it is soup jumu.
The aromatic symphony of jumu soup preparation fills kitchens with rich, celebratory fragrances that embody freedom itself. Picture the sweet, earthy essence of roasted kabocha squash mingling with savory meat and aromatic vegetables. Crushed garlic and fresh thyme create herbaceous depth, while Scotch bonnet peppers add fiery warmth that awakens the senses. The overall fragrance promises complex satisfaction, a tapestry of flavors representing the diverse influences that shaped Haitian cuisine through centuries of cultural exchange. Jumu soup features kabocha squash or Caribbean pumpkin as its foundation, creating hearty, flavorful base. The soup incorporates diverse vegetables including carrots, potatoes, cabbage, turnips, celery, leeks, and sweet corn. Meat provides essential protein, traditionally roasted shredded chicken, beef, or oxtails, contributing significant depth and richness. Small pasta, such as elbow macaroni, adds substance, while aromatics like crushed garlic and whole Scotch bonnet peppers deliver distinctive spicy character. Additional seasonings encompass cloves, thyme, salt, pepper, and sometimes coconut milk for added creaminess. Creating this liberation soup begins by peeling and chopping kabocha squash, coating lightly in oil and roasting at 375 degrees Fahrenheit until golden and tender, approximately 40 to 45 minutes. Simultaneously, roast remaining hard vegetables until golden and tender. If using oxtails, marinate with peppers, garlic, green onions, thyme, shallots, oil, vinegar, lime juice, salt, peppercorns, and mustard, then brown and simmer with marinade and bay leaves in warm water for 2 hours. Blend roasted squash with coconut milk until completely smooth, pour into main pot, add roasted vegetables, fresh corn, chopped parsley, whole hot pepper, spices, and lime juice. If using oxtail, add cooked meat back into soup. Bring to low boil, cook 15 to 20 minutes, add elbow macaroni during final 10 minutes until tender. Remove bouquet garni and hot peppers before serving. Mulligatawny soup. Mulligatawny soup stands as a quintessential example of culinary hybridization, born from the unique cultural encounter between British colonizers and Indian cooks in 18th century Madras. The name itself derives from Tamil words milagu thani, meaning pepper water, referring to rasam, a thin, watery Indian soup. British officials, accustomed to substantial soups from their homeland, found traditional rasam too light for their preferences. Indian cooks ingeniously adapted the dish, adding ingredients like meat, tomatoes, and rice to create thicker consistency, more palatable to British tastes, transforming local flavors into something familiar yet exotic.
The national soup of India, mulligatawny. Let's begin.
The aromatic experience of mulligatawny soup transports diners to spice markets and colonial kitchens. Picture the warm, complex fragrance of curry spices, cumin, coriander, turmeric, cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom, blooming in hot oil, their essential oils releasing layers of earthy, sweet, and pungent notes. Sautéed onions, celery, and carrots contribute savory sweetness, while apples and tomatoes add unexpected, fruity brightness. The overall scent promises adventure, comfort, and sophisticated complexity that bridges two culinary worlds. Mulligatawny's defining characteristic lies in its aromatic, subtly spicy curry base, achieved through pre-mixed curry powder or individual spices. Protein typically comes from chicken, though lamb or mutton were traditional alternatives. Essential vegetables include onions, celery, carrots, and surprisingly, apples and tomatoes, which add sweetness and acidity. Rice or lentils frequently appear, providing thickness and substance. Heavy cream or coconut milk creates richness and creaminess, while the complex spice blend encompasses cumin, coriander, turmeric, cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom. Preparing this colonial fusion begins by melting butter in a large soup pot, adding chopped onions, celery, and carrots, sautéing until vegetables soften without browning. Add curry powder and flour, cooking 5 minutes until spices become fragrant. Gradually pour in chicken stock while whisking continuously to prevent lumps, bringing to a gentle boil. Add chopped apple, rice, and cubed chicken breast, seasoning with salt, pepper, and dried thyme. Continue simmering 15 to 20 minutes until rice cooks and chicken becomes tender. Just before serving, gently stir in heated heavy cream or coconut milk, adding slowly while stirring to prevent curdling. Serve hot, optionally garnished with fresh parsley. Oxtail soup. Oxtail soup boasts a remarkably widespread and ancient history, appearing across diverse culinary traditions throughout Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Its enduring presence underscores a common thread in historical cooking: resourcefulness. Oxtail, initially considered a less prized, inexpensive cut of meat, transformed through slow cooking into dishes of profound richness and flavor. This approach to utilizing nose-to-tail cuts became a hallmark of cuisines born from necessity, ensuring no part of an animal went to waste. The soup's evolution proves equally fascinating, appearing in medieval European recipes, developing into refined German consommé, becoming a Chinese cuisine staple, and finding its way into American culinary traditions. The aromatic experience of oxtail soup preparation fills kitchens with deeply satisfying carnivorous fragrances.
Hearty and flavorful oxtail soup.
Picture the rich, caramelized essence of thoroughly browned oxtail pieces, releasing their beefy intensity, while aromatic vegetables, onions, leeks, carrots, celery, and garlic, contribute sweet, savory foundations. In European versions, stout beer adds deep malty complexity, while medieval preparations might include exotic spices like cinnamon, cloves, mace, and grains of paradise. The overall scent promises luxurious, gelatinous richness derived from slowly rendered collagen. Oxtail soup's central defining ingredient consists of oxtail pieces, typically browned first to develop rich, caramelized flavor. Aromatic vegetables form the broth foundation, commonly including onions, leeks, carrots, celery, and garlic. The liquid base usually employs beef stock, though some European versions notably incorporate stout beer for deep, malty complexity. Additional seasonings vary by region and historical period. Medieval recipes included complex blends of cinnamon, cloves, mace, and grains of paradise, while modern enhancements might feature Worcestershire sauce or mushroom ketchup for umami depth. Creating this ancient treasure begins by browning oxtail pieces thoroughly in a heavy stock pot with beef dripping or lard over high heat until deep, rich crust forms. Remove oxtail and set aside. In the same pot, sauté finely chopped onions, sliced leeks, diced carrots, celery, and crushed garlic until softened and fragrant. Add thyme sprigs and bay leaves, pour in stout beer to deglaze, scraping up flavorful bits. Return browned oxtail. Add beef stock until covered, incorporating desired spices. Bring to boil, reduce to low simmer, cover and cook 4 to 5 hours until meat becomes exceptionally tender and easily falls off bone. Scotch broth.
This Scotch broth soup has been around for more than 200 years.
Scotch broth stands as a quintessential Scottish dish, tracing its origins back to medieval times when it was commonly prepared in large pots over open fires. This traditional soup emerged from necessity and resourcefulness, serving as a fundamental way to utilize available ingredients, meat bones, various vegetables, and grains. It traditionally featured lamb or mutton, pearl barley, and a selection of root vegetables, evolving over centuries with unique regional variations across Scotland. The soup's enduring appeal in its native region, despite declining traditional preparation in modern households, reflects a deep-seated appreciation for hearty, comforting qualities that sustain generations through harsh Scottish winters. The aromatic experience of Scotch broth preparation transforms kitchens into havens of rustic warmth and satisfaction. Picture the rich, deeply savory fragrance of slowly simmered lamb or mutton, releasing its essence into pearl barley, which gradually thickens the broth while adding satisfying, chewy texture. Sweet carrots, earthy turnips, and mild leeks contribute their distinct aromatics, while fresh cabbage added toward the end maintains its texture and freshness. Bay leaves provide subtle herbaceous background, creating an overall scent that promises hearty, deeply nourishing comfort food. The foundation of Scotch broth typically centers on lamb or mutton, specifically neck or shoulder cuts, chosen for their ability to yield rich, flavorful broth when simmered slowly. Pearl barley serves as the traditional grain, prized for its ability to thicken soup while adding satisfying, chewy texture. A classic trio of root vegetables forms the backbone. Carrots providing sweetness and color, turnips or swedes adding distinctive earthy flavor, and leeks offering mild, onion-like taste. Onions enhance the broth's depth, while cabbage often joins toward cooking's end to maintain texture and freshness. Preparing authentic Scotch broth begins by lightly browning lamb or mutton pieces in a large pot, then combining meat with rinsed pearl barley and water or beef broth. Bring to boil, reduce to low simmer, cooking approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour until about half the liquid reduces and barley becomes tender. Add diced carrots, turnips, sliced leeks, and chopped onions, continuing to simmer additional 15 minutes until all vegetables cook through and become tender. Add shredded cabbage toward the end until it wilts. Season generously with salt and pepper. Garnish with freshly chopped parsley before serving hot. Vichyssoise. Vichyssoise carries a fascinating transatlantic origin story that exemplifies dynamic culinary exchange and reinvention. While variations of potato leek soup, known as potage parmentier, had existed in French cuisine since the 18th century, the modern chilled vichyssoise is largely attributed to Louis Diat, a French chef working at the Ritz-Carlton in New York City. In 1917, Diat drew inspiration from his childhood near Vichy, where he and his brother would cool their mother's basic potato leek soup with cold milk during hot summer months. He refined this simple practice into a sophisticated dish, naming it crème vichyssoise glacée to honor his memory of Vichy.
A delicious, creamy vichyssoise.
The aromatic experience of vichyssoise preparation fills kitchens with elegant, refined fragrances that promise sophisticated satisfaction. Picture the subtle, sweet essence of leeks and onions gently sautéing in butter until soft and translucent, carefully avoiding browning that would alter the soup's delicate color and flavor. Yukon Gold potatoes contribute earthy, creamy notes, while chicken or vegetable stock provides savory foundation. Heavy cream adds luxurious richness, and fresh chives and tarragon create bright, herbaceous contrast that elevates the entire composition. The core of vichyssoise consists of a smooth puree of leeks, specifically white and light green parts for mildness, onions, and potatoes, typically Yukon Gold or russet varieties chosen for their creamy texture when cooked. The vegetables are sautéed in butter until soft and translucent, forming fragrant base. The liquid component usually employs chicken or vegetable broth, providing savory foundation. The soup's signature richness and velvety consistency come from heavy cream or half and half, sometimes enhanced with sour cream. Creating this elegant classic begins by melting butter in a large pot over medium heat, adding sliced leeks and chopped onion, sautéing frequently until very soft and translucent, ensuring they don't brown. Add diced potatoes, stir to combine, season lightly with salt and pepper, cooking few more minutes. Pour in chicken or vegetable stock, bring to boil, reduce heat to simmer, partially covering and cooking 30 to 40 minutes until potatoes become exceptionally soft. Remove from heat, Puree using immersion blender until completely smooth and lump-free. Stir in heavy cream, return to low heat briefly, allowing cream to integrate without boiling. Cool completely to room temperature. Then refrigerate at least 3 hours until very cold before serving, garnished with fresh chopped chives and tarragon. Cold sorrel soup. Cold sorrel soup, often known as shav in various Eastern European culinary traditions, represents a traditional dish particularly prevalent in regions like East Prussia and northeastern Germany. This soup served as a quintessential spring and summer offering, designed to highlight the distinct tangy, lemony flavor of fresh sorrel. Sorrel, a historically significant culinary herb, was once a common ingredient in many regional cuisines, prized for its unique tartness that could transform simple preparations into memorable dishes. The soup's diminished presence in modern global cuisine illustrates how dishes driven by niche, regionally specific ingredients can fade when those ingredients become harder to find in mainstream markets. The aromatic experience of cold sorrel soup preparation awakens kitchens with bright, refreshing fragrances that promise summer satisfaction. Picture the distinctive tangy, lemony essence of fresh sorrel leaves, releasing their characteristic tartness, while diced potatoes contribute earthy, comforting undertones. Fresh dill adds herbaceous brightness, and sliced scallions provide mild onion notes that complement rather than compete with sorrel's starring role. The overall scent speaks of garden freshness and seasonal abundance, promising light, invigorating nourishment perfect for warm weather. The defining ingredient of cold sorrel soup centers on sorrel, which imparts characteristic tangy and lemony flavor. Essential components include diced potatoes, fresh dill, and sliced scallions. To balance sorrel's tartness, lemon juice and sugar are often added for brightness and sweetness. Some variations incorporate spinach when sorrel becomes scarce, shallots, garlic, butter, vegetable stock, and cream for richer, more complex base. Eggs serve as common inclusion, often tempered into hot soup to add body and richness. Creating this refreshing summer soup begins by combining water, diced potatoes, and sprigs of fresh dill and sliced scallions in a soup pot, bringing to medium boil and cooking approximately 5 minutes until potatoes begin softening. Add chopped sorrel, fresh lemon juice, salt, black pepper, and tablespoon of sugar, reducing heat and simmering another 10 minutes. Remove dill sprigs. In separate bowl, beat eggs with cold water until light and well combined. Very slowly, while stirring constantly, pour about 2 cups hot soup stock into egg mixture to temper eggs and prevent curdling. Once tempered, pour egg mixture back into main soup pot, stirring thoroughly to integrate. Allow soup to cool completely to room temperature, transfer to refrigerator, chilling until very cold. Just before serving, whisk in light sour cream until well combined, garnishing individual bowls with fresh chopped dill and diced cucumbers. Ajo Blanco. Ajo Blanco stands as a culinary gem from Granada and Malaga in Andalusia, with deep historical roots closely tied to Arab cuisine. Almonds, the primary ingredient, were introduced to Spain during the Arab presence, highlighting the profound and lasting impact of historical cross-cultural exchange on culinary traditions. Even after centuries, the linguistic and culinary influences from this period persist, shaping regional diets in ways that endure today. While sometimes referred to as white gazpacho due to its cold serving temperature and Spanish origin, ajo blanco remains distinctly different in core ingredients and flavor profile from its tomato-based counterparts. The aromatic experience of ajo blanco preparation transforms kitchens into Mediterranean havens of ancient flavors. Picture the rich, intensely nutty fragrance of lightly roasted white almonds releasing their oils, while ice-cold water and soaked stale bread create the foundational base. Garlic adds its characteristic pungent bite that cuts through the almond's richness, while high-quality extra virgin olive oil contributes fruity, peppery undertones. Jerez vinegar provides bright, tangy contrast that awakens the palate. The overall scent promises refreshing sophistication, ancient yet timeless. The essence of ajo blanco lies in its minimalist yet powerful combination of ingredients. White almonds form the heart, often lightly roasted to enhance their nutty flavor. Ice-cold water provides the liquid base, while old stale white bread with crust removed adds body and smoothness. Garlic delivers essential pungent character, and high-quality extra virgin olive oil creates richness and depth. Jerez vinegar adds necessary acidity and brightness, while salt provides essential seasoning. Traditionally, fresh grapes or slices of melon serve as garnish, providing sweet counterpoint to the savory, garlicky base. Creating this ancient Andalusian soup begins by very lightly roasting white almonds in dry non-stick pan until fragrant, then cooling completely. Soak old stale white bread without crust in cold water about 10 minutes until softened, then squeeze out excess water thoroughly. In heavy-duty blender or food processor, combine roasted almonds, roughly chopped garlic, and portion of ice-cold water, blending until mixture becomes nearly smooth. Add squeezed bread and remaining ice-cold water, continuing to blend until very smooth and cream-like, requiring high-speed blending for complete consistency. Add Jerez vinegar and pinch of salt, then with blender running, slowly drizzle in extra virgin olive oil until fully incorporated and soup forms smooth, emulsified texture. Taste and adjust seasoning, serving chilled and typically garnished with fresh grapes or melon slices. Ribollita. Ribollita, meaning reboiled in Italian, stands as a quintessential Tuscan bread soup with deep peasant origins. This dish represents a powerful symbol of resourcefulness and historical circular economy in cooking, where nothing was wasted. It emerged as poverty food, ingeniously designed to utilize all available resources, especially stale bread and leftover vegetable soup from the previous day. Peasants, particularly on Fridays during traditional fasting days, would cook large quantities of vegetable soup, then reboil it on subsequent days with stale bread, giving the dish its characteristic name and highlighting practical meal planning born from necessity. The aromatic experience of ribollita preparation fills kitchens with rustic, earthy fragrances that speak of tradition and sustainability. Picture the rich, savory essence of cannellini beans slowly simmering alongside aromatic vegetables, diced celery, carrots, onions, and garlic creating sweet caramelized foundations. Italian kale, Savoy cabbage, and chard contribute their distinctive leafy mineral notes, while peeled tomatoes add bright acidity. Thyme, known as peppolino in Tuscany, enriches the soup with special herbal aroma that defines authentic preparation. The overall scent promises hearty satisfaction and rustic comfort. Ribollita features robust vegetables and legumes as primary components. Stale Tuscan bread provides essential structure, while cannellini beans add protein and creaminess. Essential leafy greens include Italian kale, Savoy cabbage, and chard, contributing distinctive flavors and nutrition. Inexpensive vegetables like potatoes, peeled tomatoes, carrots, celery, and onion form the aromatic base. Thyme serves as crucial herb, enriching the soup with special aroma that distinguishes authentic Tuscan preparation. Creating this sustainable masterpiece begins by soaking dried cannellini beans overnight, then cooking in large pot with unsalted cold water for 1 hour until tender. Take half the beans and blend with cooking water until smooth, creating bean broth. Dice celery, carrots, onion, and garlic, peel and chunk potatoes. Prepare leafy greens by removing cores and cutting into strips. Crush canned tomatoes with fork. In very large pot, pour olive oil, add chopped vegetables, seasoning with thyme and sautéing gently over low heat about 10 minutes until softened. Add potatoes and leafy greens, seasoning with salt and pepper, mixing well and stewing few minutes. Pour in crushed tomatoes and prepared bean broth, adding water if needed to cover vegetables. Bring to boil, reduce to medium-low, cooking 45 minutes until vegetables become tender. Add cooked beans, cut stale bread into slices, immersing thoroughly until fully saturated. Cover and cool completely at room temperature. Refrigerate at least 2 hours. Next day, retrieve soup, stir, bring to boil, adjusting thickness with water if needed, serving with raw olive oil drizzle. Acorda. Acorda, a distinctly Portuguese bread soup particularly prominent in the Alentejo region, carries rich historical legacy rooted in Portugal's Arab occupation spanning from the 8th to 13th centuries. Its very name derives from Arabic ath thurda, meaning bread soup, creating a clear linguistic link to ancient origins. This etymological connection powerfully illustrates the profound and lasting impact of historical cross-cultural exchange on culinary traditions, demonstrating how influences from past interactions persist in both language and cuisine even after centuries. Historically, acorda emerged from poverty and hardship, serving as testament to community resilience when facing scarcity. The aromatic experience of acorda preparation transforms kitchens into herbaceous sanctuaries of Portuguese tradition. Picture the vibrant, intensely fresh fragrance of finely chopped cilantro leaves and stems releasing their distinctive peppery, citrusy essence. Crushed garlic adds pungent depth, while green bell pepper contributes subtle sweetness and fresh notes. Optional serrano pepper provides gentle heat that awakens the senses. Portuguese pau bread or Kaiser rolls, when toasted and incorporated, create earthy, comforting foundation that absorbs all the aromatic elements. The overall scent promises rustic satisfaction and authentic Portuguese character. The foundational elements of a corda center on vibrant broth infused with large amounts of finely chopped fresh cilantro and garlic, providing intensely aromatic and savory character. This broth is bulked up with stale chunks of Portuguese pau bread or Kaiser rolls, which absorb liquid and create thick, comforting consistency. Essential seasonings include olive oil, vinegar, and salt. While basic versions remain minimalist, richer family adaptations might include fish, potatoes, or eggs. Some recipes incorporate green bell pepper and serrano pepper, adding subtle sweetness and spice. Creating this Alentejo treasure begins by pulsing roughly chopped cilantro leaves and stems, peeled garlic cloves, large green bell pepper, and optional serrano pepper in food processor, seasoning with kosher salt and black pepper until roughly chopped. Add olive oil and puree until smooth paste forms. Take half-cup prepared herb paste, placing in separate bowl with 1-inch cubes of toasted Portuguese pau bread, tossing well to coat thoroughly. In 6-quart saucepan, heat remaining herb paste over medium heat, cooking and stirring 2 to 3 minutes until fragrant. Add 8 cups chicken stock, bringing to boil. While stirring boiling stock constantly, slowly drizzle in lightly beaten eggs, continuing to stir about 1 minute until eggs set and form delicate strands. Remove from heat, stir in reserved bread mixture, ensuring bread becomes fully immersed and begins absorbing flavorful liquid before serving hot. Stracciatella alla Romana. Stracciatella alla Romana stands as a testament to the enduring simplicity and elegance of ancient culinary traditions, popular around Rome and extending into Marche and Abruzzo regions. Its lineage traces back to the 15th century, with similar soup called zanzarelli, described in Martino da Como's manual, The Art of Cooking, indicating a long, continuous history of preparing egg-based soups throughout Italy. The soup's name derives from Italian verb stracciare, meaning to shred, perfectly describing the small, delicate shreds of cooked egg that form when the egg mixture is drizzled into boiling broth. The aromatic experience of stracciatella alla Romana preparation fills kitchens with refined, comforting fragrances that embody Roman culinary sophistication. Picture the rich, savory essence of flavorful meat broth, chicken, beef, or classic brodo classico, simmering gently and releasing its deep, nourishing perfume. Freshly grated Parmesan cheese adds sharp, nutty undertones, while optional grated nutmeg and lemon zest contribute warm, aromatic complexity. The overall scent promises delicate satisfaction, light yet deeply flavorful, characteristic of Roman comfort food at its finest. The fundamental components of stracciatella alla Romana center on eggs, freshly grated Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper. To enhance depth and authenticity, traditional recipes often include grated nutmeg, grated lemon zest, and semolina, which adds firmness and heft to the egg strands. The soup's quality heavily relies on flavorful meat broth. Chicken, beef, or classic brodo classico serve as suitable foundations, with homemade broth being highly recommended for superior taste. Finely chopped parsley serves as common garnish, adding freshness and color. Creating this Roman classic begins by whisking together medium eggs with heaping tablespoons of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper until perfectly smooth and homogeneous. If desired, incorporate optional traditional flavorings such as semolina, grated nutmeg, grated lemon zest, and finely chopped fresh parsley, whisking thoroughly to ensure complete combination. Bring chosen meat broth to fairly brisk simmer in saucepan, maintaining active simmering without rolling boil. Once broth simmers properly, pour prepared egg mixture into broth in one swift motion, while simultaneously beginning vigorous whisking with wooden spoon in single direction. This continuous agitation creates characteristic small curds or stracks, shreds, that define the soup. Allow simmering additional minute or two after egg forms shreds, ensuring complete cooking. Serve hot, traditionally in bowls with thin slices of toasted bread, offering additional grated Parmesan cheese on side for those desiring extra richness. Minestra maritata. Minestra maritata, aptly known as wedding soup in dialect, represents a traditional Neapolitan dish with ancient and somewhat ambiguous origins. A recipe bearing strong similarities called olla podrida appeared in Spain as early as 1200, suggesting shared culinary lineage across the Mediterranean. The soup gained significant popularity in the 16th century as Neapolitan-style soup of leaves. The evocative name maritata refers to the harmonious marriage of various meats, traditionally less valuable cuts of pork like pig's foot, ear, ham bone, rind, and sausages, with diverse mixture of leafy greens such as chicory, endive, Savoy cabbage, kale, and broccoli rub. The aromatic experience of minestra maritata preparation fills kitchens with rich, complex fragrances that speak of abundance and tradition. Picture the deep, savory essence of various pork cuts, slowly releasing their fatty richness into aromatic vegetables, onions, carrots, and celery, creating sweet, caramelized foundations. The diverse leafy greens contribute their distinctive mineral, earthy notes, while freshly grated Parmesan cheese adds sharp, nutty undertones. The overall scent promises hearty satisfaction, representing the perfect marriage between meat and vegetables that defines this ancient soup. Minestra maritata is characterized by its complex marriage of diverse meats and leafy greens. The meat component traditionally features various pork cuts, including pork ribs, salt pork, mild Italian sausages, and salami, with optional additions like unsmoked pork rind or prosciutto bone to enrich the broth. The vegetable component consists of bitter and sweet leafy greens, such as escarole, chicory, green cabbage, and broccoli rabe. Aromatics like onion, carrots, and celery flavor the broth. The soup is typically finished with generous sprinkle of grated Parmesan cheese and sometimes caciocavallo or other hard cheeses. Creating this Neapolitan treasure begins by blanching salt pork briefly in unsalted water to remove excess saltiness. In large pot, combine salt pork with other chosen meats, covering with at least 2 inches of water, salting lightly, bringing to simmer while carefully skimming surface scum. Allow gentle simmering 4 to 5 hours until very tender and broth becomes rich. Meanwhile, prepare leafy greens by trimming and roughly chopping, then blanching each type individually in separate large pot of lightly salted boiling water until tender but not overcooked. Once blanched, mix all cooked vegetables together. When meats finish cooking, remove from broth, pull pork off ribs, cut all meats into bite-sized chunks. Add chopped meats to mixed blanched vegetables, seasoning with salt and pepper, ladling rich meat broth over mixture for good balance of solids and liquid. Allow brief resting period for flavor melding, then sprinkle generously with freshly grated Parmesan cheese before serving hot. Sopa de castanas. Sopa de castanhas, a traditional soup from Portugal and mountainous regions of Spain, centers around sweet chestnuts, a historically significant food source. In many areas, particularly where other crops were less abundant or during times of scarcity, chestnuts served as crucial staple, providing sustenance and carbohydrates when other options remained unavailable. This soup directly reflects a time when local, seasonal ingredients were paramount to regional diets. The historical importance of chestnuts as staple food in these regions, where they thrived naturally, is clearly demonstrated by the prominence of dishes like this soup, showcasing how communities maximized available resources. The aromatic experience of sopa de castanhas preparation fills kitchens with warm, comforting fragrances that embody autumn abundance and rustic satisfaction. Picture the sweet, nutty essence of cooked chestnuts releasing their distinctive earthy perfume, whether boiled or roasted and peeled. Common aromatic additions like onions, carrots, celery, and garlic, sautéed in olive oil and butter, create flavorful foundation that complements rather than competes with chestnuts' starring role. Spanish versions introduce smoky, savory elements with mild cooking chorizo and touch of saffron, adding complexity and regional character. The defining ingredient of sopa de castanhas consists of cooked sweet chestnuts, which can be either boiled or roasted, then peeled. These simmer in water or broth, forming the soup's foundation. Common aromatic additions include onions, carrots, celery, and garlic, often sautéed in olive oil and butter to build flavorful base. Variations incorporate red beans, potatoes, leeks, cabbage, or pieces of stale bread for added body and texture. Traditional seasonings encompass parsley, cloves, bay leaves, salt, and pepper. Some Spanish versions introduce smoky, savory elements with mild cooking chorizo and touch of saffron. Creating this autumnal treasure begins by heating olive oil and butter in large saucepan over medium heat, adding diced onion, carrot, and thinly sliced celery. If using chorizo, add 1 centimeter cubes at this stage. Fry ingredients about 20 minutes, stirring occasionally until everything caramelizes and turns rich brown, developing wonderfully rich color and taste. Add thinly sliced garlic, ground cumin, finely chopped fresh thyme leaves, and crushed dried red chilies, cooking 1 more minute until fragrant. Add roughly chopped fresh or tinned tomatoes, cooking about 2 minutes. Incorporate roughly chopped cooked peeled chestnuts, stirring well to combine. Pour in saffron-infused liquid if using in water or broth, bringing to simmer and cooking about 10 minutes for flavor melding. Season generously with sea salt and black pepper to taste, serving warm with optional garnish of chopped chestnuts and crusty bread. Maltaschensuppe. Maltaschensuppe, a traditional German soup from Swabia, features large, rectangular, meat-filled pasta pockets called Maltaschen served in clear broth. Maltaschen translates to feed bag, but the colorful nickname Herrgårdsspeiserle means little ones to cheat the Lord. Legend suggests monks invented Maltaschen during Lent when meat was prohibited, covering meat with pasta to hide it from God and circumvent fasting rules through culinary ingenuity. Preparation fills kitchens with rich, savory fragrances, speaking of tradition and comfort. Fresh parsley and blanched spinach mingle with sautéed onions and garlic, creating sweet, caramelized foundations. Ground meat releases savory richness, while breadcrumbs soaked in milk bind everything together. Clear chicken or beef broth provides clean backdrop, allowing dumpling flavors to shine. Maltaschen consists of simple pasta dough made from flour, egg, oil, salt, and water. The filling features ground meat, blanched squeezed spinach, sautéed onions, garlic, leek parsley, and breadcrumbs softened with milk. Egg binds the filling, while nutmeg, salt, and pepper add depth. Creating this specialty begins by combining flour, oil, egg, and salt into smooth dough, resting 30 minutes. Blanch spinach, squeeze dry, fry bacon, soften bread with milk. Combine all filling ingredients in food processor. Roll dough thinly, place filling spoonfuls, brush edges with egg wash, fold over, cut into portions. Simmer gently in broth about 10 minutes until cooked through. Karfiolevs. Karfiolevs, a traditional Hungarian cauliflower soup, showcases Hungarian culinary heritage's defining element, the pervasive use of paprika. Paprika, now synonymous with Hungarian cuisine, was introduced by occupying Turks in the 16th century, then enthusiastically embraced and integrated into Hungarian cooking. This historical adoption illustrates how external influences, even from occupation, can leave lasting transformative marks on regional foodways. The continued prominence of paprika in dishes like karfiolevs demonstrates enduring culinary impact of such historical interactions. Karfiolevs preparation transforms kitchens into Hungarian comfort havens with warm, inviting fragrances. Tender cauliflower florets release mild, nutty perfume alongside sliced carrots and diced potatoes. The soup's distinctive character emerges from generous, sweet Hungarian paprika infusion, imparting warm, earthy flavor and beautiful reddish hue. Buttery roux creates velvety consistency, while tangy sour cream adds balancing acidity and fresh parsley provides vibrant garnish. Creating this comfort begins by breaking cauliflower into small florets, slicing carrots, and dicing potatoes. Melt butter in large pot over medium heat, adding flour and stirring continuously until lightly golden, forming roux. Stir in paprika until fragrant. Gradually whisk in vegetable broth to prevent lumps, bringing to gentle boil. Add vegetables, seasoning with salt and pepper. Simmer 15 to 20 minutes until tender. Temper sour cream with hot soup ladle, then stir back into pot, heating without boiling to prevent curdling. Garnish with fresh parsley before serving with crusty bread. Palakleves. Palakleves, a traditional Hungarian soup, is often described as goulash's lighter, more refined cousin, characterized by lamb or pork and creamy sour cream finish. Legend claims Janos Gundel created this soup for renowned novelist Kalman Miksath, the biggest palak, on his birthday. Miksath reportedly loved it so much he devoured a second bowl, leading to the soup being named in his honor. This narrative highlights how traditional recipes adapt over time due to ingredient availability and changing tastes. Palakleves preparation fills kitchens with rich, deeply satisfying fragrances, embodying Hungarian culinary tradition. Savory essence of diced lamb or pork browning with bacon creates robust base flavors. Golden onions and garlic release sweet caramelized notes, while generous mild Hungarian paprika and cumin provide warmth and distinctive earthiness. Bay leaves add herbaceous background, and sour cream creates luxurious richness. Fresh dill provides bright herbaceous counterpoint, balancing the soup's richness. Palacleves features diced lamb or pork leg as protein, often browned with bacon to build robust base. Aromatics include onions and garlic sautéed to golden softness. The soup's signature character comes from generous Hungarian paprika and cumin, providing warmth and distinct earthiness. The broth uses chicken stock or water simmering with meat and spices. Vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and green beans contribute texture and sweetness. The soup finishes with substantial sour cream, often whisked with flour for thickening. Creating this treasure begins by browning bacon until fat renders. Add diced onion, sautéing until golden. Salt lamb pieces, browning for flavor development. Add garlic, paprika, and cumin, cooking carefully to prevent burning. Add stock and bay leaves, bringing to boil, then simmering 45 minutes until meat softens. Add carrots and potatoes, cooking 20 to 30 minutes until soft. Add green beans for final 7 minutes. Whisk flour into sour cream until smooth, then stir into soup to thicken. Add fresh dill and lemon juice, adjusting seasoning before serving with crusty bread. Shchi. Shchi, Russia's quintessential cabbage soup, represents centuries of peasant ingenuity and seasonal adaptation. This fundamental dish exists in countless variations. Fresh shchi uses young spring cabbage, while sour shchi employs fermented sauerkraut for winter sustenance. Traditional preparation combines cabbage with carrots, onions, and potatoes in beef or vegetable broth, often enriched with meat scraps. The soup's defining characteristic lies in its simplicity and flexibility, accommodating whatever ingredients were available. Sour cream and fresh dill provide classic garnish. Shchi exemplifies Russian comfort food philosophy, humble ingredients transformed through time and tradition into deeply satisfying nourishment that sustained generations through harsh winters and economic hardship. Okroshka. Okroshka, Russia's beloved cold summer soup, showcases ingenious use of kvass, a mildly fermented bread drink that provides the soup's distinctive tangy base. This refreshing dish combines diced vegetables, cucumbers, radishes, scallions, hard-boiled eggs, with cooked potatoes and meat or fish, all swimming in chilled kvass. The soup's origins trace to peasant necessity of creating nourishing meals during hot weather when hot cooking became unbearable. Regional variations substitute kefir or buttermilk for kvass. Fresh herbs like dill and parsley add brightness, while sour cream provides richness. Okroshka represents perfect summer sustenance, cooling, nutritious, and endlessly adaptable to available ingredients, embodying Russian culinary practicality. From the refined elegance of French vichyssoise to the rustic heartiness of Russian okroshka, these 30 soups represent humanity's remarkable culinary diversity and ingenuity. Each bowl tells stories of cultural exchange, seasonal adaptation, and resourceful cooking born from necessity. Whether showcasing the sophisticated techniques of classical European cuisine or the humble wisdom of peasant traditions, these soups demonstrate how simple ingredients, vegetables, grains, herbs, can be transformed into deeply satisfying nourishment that transcends mere sustenance. They remind us that soup, perhaps more than any other food category, connects us to our ancestors, our communities, and the rhythms of the natural world through shared bowls of comfort and tradition.